Hi everybody, and you're very, very welcome to the latest in our Zoom features. And tonight, in a couple of minutes, you'll be hearing from some very, very special guests, because we are talking about an event that is known as the March for Maroon. And what is the March for Maroon? As I look at the camera, well, the March for Maroon is a fundraiser that is raising money for the training funds for the Galway senior footballers, the senior hurlers, senior camogie and senior ladies football teams. And we're also raising money as well for the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit and for Cancer Care West. We'll hear from the two charities in a few minutes' time, but there's probably no better way of introduction than with the video itself from March for Maroon. We'll be joined by our guests after that. Hope you enjoy it.
Hi, so who's up for the challenge?
I am.
So am I.
I'm in.
Well, let's get started. We want you to join us this month for our Galway GAA fundraiser, March for Maroon 10K.
It's very simple.
You can walk, run or cycle your 10K at any stage during the month of March.
And it's totally up to you how you complete it.
All you have to do is log on to galwaygaa.ie for all the details and donate what you can today. But as always, please adhere to all COVID-19 restrictions. If you're living abroad, please join us too.
This is a hugely exciting event and everyone is welcome.
Galway GAA needs your support.
Galway GAA needs your help.
All proceeds for this event will go to the Galway GAA Training Fund.
And to two incredible charities, Cancer Care West and the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit.
March for Maroon will also include weekly competitions with some amazing prizes too.
From anywhere on the planet, we will be looking for your quickest times, best locations or iconic landmarks.
Or a beautiful sunrise or sunset, or doing your 10K in a new or old Galway jersey. It's up to you.
So let's get moving and sign up today at galwaygaa.ie.
Thank you.
The video for March for Maroon, which has seen, I suppose, taken great legs on social media over the past number of weeks, and I am now delighted to be joined by 5 people to whom this march means an awful lot, not only because they are representing the different aspects of Gaelic games in Galway, whether it be Johnny Duane in football or Conor Cooney in hurling, Charlotte Cooney ladies football, and Aoife Donohue in camogie, but we've also been joined by Mark Gottsche as well. And Mark is the operations manager for Galway GAA, and it's fantastic to have them all joining me this evening to talk about the March for Maroon and everything that goes with it. And first of all, Mark Gottsche, I'm going to have to ask you about the half marathon. I was having a bit of a slag with you a little bit earlier on, but that's part and parcel of all of this, is getting and taking on something that might be a little bit of a test and pushing yourself to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The March for Maroon is an online fundraiser for Galway GAA, ladies football and camogie, as well as their 2 charity partners. So it's challenging people to get involved and get active and donate. So if it's a 10K or less or more, whichever suits you to your own ability, just get out there and get active. I suppose at a time where we can't do a whole lot more, and we're just trying to get people behind the teams as they prepare for their championship in the year ahead.
Yeah, well, the important thing is just getting out and getting active. I mean, some people are taking on half marathons like you did, or, there might be just a 5K walk around the house. It doesn't matter what distance they do. The important thing is that they're raising money, because, the training funds for the inter-county teams, it's even more difficult now to raise money to try and get these teams prepared the way they should be and properly prepared, because funds aren't there in many other ways. So this is a good way of throwing a few quid in their direction and getting the season started in the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I suppose the lack of funds has been well highlighted over the last 12 months with the lack of crowds at games. But we want to prepare, and no more than ladies football and camogie want to prepare their teams as well as they can. It does cost money. It doesn't necessarily mean equal success by spending money, but we want to put the tools in place that help the players prepare as best they can for their championships and to contest and compete for All Ireland's later on in the year.
Yeah, and before I do talk to the 4 representatives from the 4 teams, I mean, the one thing about Gaelic games, and this was something that really was driven home last year, in some of the darkest days of lockdown, seeing the Galway teams taking on opponents, like watching the Camogie team get to the All-Ireland final, watching the ladies get to the All-Ireland semi-final, the hurlers, doing so well, the footballers. Everyone, they were giving a lift to the entire county. It didn't matter what sport you followed. The fact that these teams were doing well gave everybody a lift, and it's only fair, if I can be rather selfish to say this, that people maybe give something back, because these teams can do the very same thing again this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I suppose in a normal year, when people are paying their 10 or 20 euro into a club championship game, it's that 10 or 20 euros that is generally going into the training fund over the winter as they do their pre-season training to what would be a normal year, National League and then Championship. Whatever they can afford in the current climate, it'll all be greatly appreciated.
Most certainly, and I want to mention the 2 charities as well, if I could, because you've got 2 very, very deserving charities that are going to benefit as well from the March for Maroon, and we really must stress that the money is crucial for these organisations like Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit, and of course Cancer Care West, who've been a great supporter of Galway Gaelic Games for many, many years. Their fundraising has been pretty much stopped since lockdown, since the pandemic began this time last year, and these funds are also crucial for them because they cannot function if the money isn't there to support them.
Yeah, no, they provide incredible services, especially in the local community, and that's why we picked them, because they're very specific to Galway and the service they provide to Galway people. And I suppose, they're lacking their ability to fundraise as well. I suppose it's important to know as well that the service that they do provide is free of charge, so every bit of income for them is then spent on being able to provide the services that they do in the local community.
And after the break, we will be hearing from Richard Flaherty, who's the CEO of Cancer Care West, and from Sean Green, who's the search coordinator of Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit. But I must bring in the players, because they are, they're the reason that people were glued to their televisions last year all over the county with the fantastic games that they were involved in, the absolute epics. And even though they may have been playing in front of empty stadiums, they were playing in front of millions on TV and radio, and they brought so much pride to the county over the past couple of years, and everyone's looking forward to the next 12 months. And it's, I suppose, a sense of excitement of what could happen with all 4 teams coming out of the county in 2021. And I'm going to start, Johnny Duane, with yourself and the footballers, because obviously it was a difficult time. You were lucky that we got a club championship out of the way last year when we did. We got some cracking games with that, and of course then the inter-county was a bit up and down because of the uncertainty that followed, and nobody seemed to know, so it made it really difficult for yourselves.
Yeah, it was actually great to get a club championship at all. Probably at the start of the year we didn't really know if we would be playing at all. So we were probably the lucky ones that could go out and play games, and it was nice to be back with your club. You had a full season with your club before you came back to inter-county, and then we were lucky enough then again to play some inter-county games. It's great to get out on the pitch again.
And the thing about it is that since last year, obviously you've been thinking about 2021, thinking about what's to come, and we still don't know what the story is as regards to championship, because there is still that uncertainty. People were hoping that you'd be back training, in April for a start of a National League in May. It's still not impossible. It's still, still possible that it could happen. But you still have to prepare, and you still have to train, and you still have to be fit and ready to go for whenever the time comes.
Yeah, exactly. I suppose everyone around the country is probably tipping away doing their own bit of exercise, and just waiting for that announcement whenever we can go back training. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We're in a team sport, and it's not ideal to be training on your own, but it'd be nice to get back with the team and hopefully have some games in the next couple of weeks or months.
Yeah, and the March for Maroon is, obviously we're talking about going to the Players Training Fund and what have you, but it's much bigger than that, as I mentioned to Mark. And the great thing about the March for Maroon is it takes the whole county in. Everybody loves Gaelic games in this county. Everybody loves the footballers, the hurlers, the ladies footballers, the camogie teams. doesn't matter if they're under 16 or senior like yourselves. It's one thing about Gaelic games that this county really just grabs, and something like the March for Maroon is great for that, and getting the county behind you and getting the county on board, even if there is no Gaelic games to watch this time of year.
Absolutely, yeah, and I suppose there's not much else to be at these days apart from walking and drinking coffee or whatever, so if you can get the 10k in, I suppose, and raise a bit of funds for a good cause. I suppose the two charities, whether we've been affected ourselves or know someone that's been affected close to us, so we all know how great they are. And then with the training fund as well, I suppose any bit can be raised will go to a good cause as well.
Yeah, very much so. Conor Cooney, the hurlers, a cracking year last year, some absolute epic matches, and I suppose the Christmas break probably came at the time you didn't want it to come, but I mean, this is the thing, the championship is still a bit away, but you've obviously, like Johnny, you've had to think about the year ahead and kind of do your own thing to prepare for that.
Yeah, I suppose we've just been tipping away much the same as the lads, and I suppose it has been difficult for, you look at the training schedules when lads are kind of training on their own, and maybe not every lad has the same facilities, whether it's weights or stuff at home to kind of get yourself in shape. But I suppose it's been difficult enough for the lads, and trying to gauge when the championship and the league is going to go ahead and trying to gear training towards that. So I think most lads have just been kind of tipping away and trying to get themselves in the best condition possible for when we go back collective training. Hopefully it'll be they're kind of giving an indication that you'll get 4 weeks collective before game starts, so that'll be a plus. I suppose it's difficult to be working through tactics and things like that in such a short time frame, and you really have to get a spot on straight away, and there's no room for mistakes as such. So it'll be interesting, but just really looking forward to getting back at it again.
Is it unusual? Obviously it's unusual, that's a silly thing to say, but the fact that when a GAA player has a calendar, and the calendar is, National League, January, February, into March, all things going well. Then you've got, club games, and then you've got club championship and the inter-counties interspersed and all of that. And you know what you're doing from one week into the next pretty much. But the fact that you don't, probably, does it add to the excitement a little bit that, you can't really wait to get out on the pitch now again, and first of all go training, and second of all put on that maroon jersey and go out and represent the county?
Yeah, I suppose it's the way it's fallen. I suppose it's, depending on what way you look at it, it's probably a great opportunity to get yourself in great physical condition before you go back hurling, where I suppose we'll only find out how fit we are or we aren't when we do go back training and play matches together. But I suppose that's further down the line. But yeah, look at it, it's great that kind of the GAA is taking steps forward in that regard in the last few years to kind of put a real structure, and I suppose the split season as well, to give players an idea of when they're going to be playing and what they have to do kind of in advance, because it gives people an opportunity to kind of plan their lives, because I suppose a lot of people kind of base an awful lot of their lives around GAA and around sports. So I suppose just showing that bit of initiative is really helpful. It's been an unusual, I suppose, year at this stage to try and get yourself right, and it'll be another challenging year, but I suppose just chatting to a few lads, we're just really looking forward to getting back playing matches and seeing where we are and going from there.
Aoife, thanks very much for joining us, and the Camogie year, we know what happened, and getting to the All-Ireland final, I mean, you wrapped up just before Christmas, so you actually haven't had that much time off, and maybe it was a welcome break in one way, but the fact, like the boys, I suppose it's the same question, but I have to ask it anyway. I mean, you probably had an idea of what you've been doing now during lockdown, so no more than everybody else, you just can't wait to get out on the pitch again.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as the lad said, I think, we're all just looking forward to getting back out on the pitch and, training, and I suppose just hopefully now in the next 2 weeks or so we might get some sort of a indication as to, when we'll be back on the pitch. And like the lads, the girls are just tipping away by themselves and, trying to keep yourself as, I suppose, fit and in as good condition as you can be, and to be as prepared as you can be when we do go back to the pitch. But yeah, I think everyone at this stage will probably just be looking forward to getting back, and I suppose we were kind of, playing up until the end of December. So as you said, in a way, the break we probably needed the break. I found the year quite, I suppose, long last year, and I suppose it was demanding on the body, but we're delighted to be playing all the same. So the break was great, but at the same time, I suppose we're all just dying to get back out on the pitch now.
And there's a real sense of anticipation as well when you know how close you went last year, that you really just are itching to get back out now and maybe prove a few people wrong. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah, I suppose we'd probably be fairly, I suppose, kicking ourselves over the way the All-Ireland final went, but at the same time, I suppose we were probably lucky to be playing at all. So in a way, I suppose there's a bit of unfinished business there from last year, and I think as a team and as a group, we'll probably be, more determined than ever, maybe coming into this year, and I suppose hopefully going maybe one step further, and I suppose kind of getting right what went wrong last year during obviously winter hurling, and that was a bit different, but hopefully we'll be playing the summertime this year, and yeah, we'll be looking forward to, I suppose, getting back to maybe the later stages of the championship this year. But right now, I suppose we don't really know what the story is. So as the lad said, we're just really waiting for that announcement and that indication as to when we will be back.
It's been very tough for all the teams and for all of you. And Charlotte, I mean, you're in an unusual situation in a sense. I mean, you got the Ireland semi-final, but of course there's been a change of manager now, so Jerry Fahey's taken over. I suppose you have to find out what he's like and what his management style is going to be like for the coming year. So you're in a kind of in an unusual situation as compared to the other three, because while they may have their training plans and whatever in place, you're still kind of waiting to see what happens next and when you can get started under a new boss.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to start trials when we can get back on the pitch, and we have been given a training schedule to go by until we can get back. But I'm excited. It's new management. It's a new opportunity for players coming in. The team will be fresh again this year, so I'm looking forward to it.
And that's it. Can I ask, and this is the same question to all four of you, and Mark, I'll ask you this as well, because obviously the county board have to put their own preparations in place as well for the year ahead. I mean, the four teams can't just go off and do it on their own willy-nilly. They have to work with the county board itself to make sure that everything is done properly. And is there, I'm looking at a particular term, like a child waiting for Christmas, because I've spoken to a lot of people and that's been the way that they've felt, that they're like a child waiting for Christmas when they see the Galway teams getting back out on the pitch again, and you've got to do the prep before that. So is there that kind of feeling amongst you as well, that you can only train so much and prepare so much, but this is really what you want to do, and this is what you want to get out of it, is get on that pitch, we'll put on the maroon and white, and hopefully in front of a crowd, even though it's unlikely, but hope springs eternal, I suppose.
Yeah, we train to play games, and there's only so much training you can do on your own, and it can be hard to keep motivated, but you have to think down the line and hope for the day when we can return to play and play in front of our families and friends and have everyone back on the pitch together. So I think it's just keeping positive, and if we do get back playing in these circumstances, we'll be very lucky and very grateful. So it's just to try and keep positive in these situations.
And that's the thing. And one of the things, and the reason we are here and talking, and I want to bring this up, and I will bring it up several times, is the March for Maroon. Because the reason that I'm talking to these five people is because the March for Maroon, it's been ongoing throughout the month, and hence the word March, and also it's raising money for the training funds for the Galway senior footballers, the senior hurlers, ladies footballers and camogie teams, so that once things get up and running and the preparations start in full swing, that everything can be done right and done properly, as it has been over the past number of years. Guys, can I actually talk to you about that now? Have you given yourselves goals? And Charlotte, I'll start with you again, as it's yourself that spoke last. Have you kind of given yourselves goals to kind of take on this march and, maybe give yourselves a bit of a challenge like Mr. Gottsche with the half marathon?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I wouldn't be one for running marathons or running long distances or anything like that. So I definitely will challenge myself to do it and see how it goes. I can't imagine I'd get the 10K. I don't know how fit I will be, even though I'm training all the time. It's hard to know how fit you are when you're training on your own, but definitely it's a good challenge, and it's something to, to do with everything that's going on. So I'll definitely give it a go.
Yeah, and Aoife, have you have the girls in the senior camogie panel kind of given each other a bit of a challenge and said, right, this is what we're doing for the March for Maroon. I challenge you, Aoife Donohue, to do 10K by Friday. Sarah Durbin might just ask that question, for example. Does that actually help as well regarding the whole camaraderie amongst the team as well? Because you're all still in contact, you're all still chatting, even if it is on Zoom like what we're doing. But it adds to a little bit of banter as well with something like that, and as a result makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was speaking to Sarah recently about the 10K, and I was asking her, what would be a good time to do it in, and so she reckoned maybe you'd be doing well to run it in maybe an hour and a bit. Now, like Charlotte, I wouldn't be one for running the roads or running marathons or 10Ks or anything like that, but I think when you're involved in a team sport, like, the girls are fairly competitive, so I'm sure there will be some of them throwing up their times, and I suppose we'll be all trying to see, can we compete against one another. But yeah, there's a bit of, I suppose, camaraderie through it as well, and just, it's a great cause to get everyone really just out and involved, and just even like to get out and just get walking. Like, you can do it, you can walk it, you can run it, you can cycle it, and like, I think, just to get out of the house, and even for your own, I suppose, your mental and your physical well-being, it's great. But like, everyone's getting really, really involved in it, and I suppose it's a really good cause for, like, all Galway GAA, and it's great that the camogie and the LGFA are included in it, as well as the footballers and the hurlers, and there's just a huge drive behind it. So I'm looking forward to seeing who comes up with the best time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you posting yours, Aoife, so we'll hopefully at some stage. Conor Cooney, ask you the same question. Have you started that with the hurlers? I have a funny feeling you have.
I suppose there's nothing really, nothing done officially yet, but just chatting away, like the girls probably be a competitive enough environment, so when the challenge is laid down and lads start posting times and stuff like that, I'm sure it'll add a bit of crack there as well. So yeah, look, at, like Aoife was saying, it's a great cause and two great charities involved as well, and I suppose fair play to Mark and everyone for organising it, and it's just a nice way, I suppose, to get supporters and everyone involved and kind of working towards a common cause. So we're looking forward to getting involved and putting in the miles. I suppose I wouldn't be a big road runner myself either, but looking forward to getting involved in it.
Yeah, Johnny, I was going to say, I could imagine John Divley already has started setting a time for you to kind of to keep up. But Div will kill me for saying that. Well, I've already said it now, so he's going to kill me anyway. But how about yourselves? Is that something that you've kind of taken on board as well? Because obviously, everybody has to stay in touch, and everybody has to try and kind of as much as humanly possible and as realistic to kind of stay in contact. And this is a great way of doing it, because it kind of gives you a chance to have a bit of a slag at each other, but keep that camaraderie going, as we talked about already.
Yeah, definitely. We get to about to this time first and see can we beat that one. But yeah, no, I think
Dibbo, you've been warned.
We'll definitely get involved. There's people out there that are doing it for us, so I think it's only right that all of us will take part as well, and hopefully there'll be some half decent time, as the lads were saying there. It wouldn't be massive road runners, but we'll give it a lash anyway to see how we get on.
But that's the thing though, Johnny, isn't it? I mean, people are giving it a lash, not expecting for Olympic times here. We're just expecting people to have a bit of enjoyment and do it with a smile on their face. I mean, there's enough doom and gloom going on in the world, and this is a way of just getting kind of people to maybe enjoy it a bit. Eva touched on it. It's great for your mental health. It's great for well-being. You get a fresh air into your lungs. You're having a bit of fun. That's the bottom line, really, and you're raising money at the same time.
yeah, as Aoife was saying there, you can walk or run or cycle or wherever you get around the 10k, and it's great to just get out and about. We're probably stuck inside a lot of time with this lockdown, so definitely good for your mental health. And as we said already, just we're raising funds for a great cause. So it's great. It's a great initiative, and fair play to the county board and Mark there.
Yeah, it really is, Mark. I mean, that this is it. You put this plan in motion, and it has. I was actually, funnily enough, I was looking through my Twitter a little bit earlier on, and the amount of messages and Facebook as well, very, very good for it. So all social media have been the people putting up their times. Almost come and have a go if you think you're good enough kind of thing. It's a bit of a challenge, but it's been done in the right spirit. It's been done with a sense of humour, which is the important thing here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think people see the benefits of it, and they want to show their support for their county, and especially that it incorporates all the different codes. I think that's very key, and hopefully we can build on that with future initiatives as well.
And to the four players, to Johnny, Conor, Aoife, Charlotte, it must do ye, I suppose, a great deal of good as well, to see these guys putting on the maroon jersey and going out and doing this kind of thing, because they could be hurling fans, football fans, camogie, ladies football, it doesn't matter, they're GAA fans at the end of the day. And if you look at it on social media and you see someone maybe 10, 11 years of age, they've gone and done their few kilometres for the March for Maroon wearing a Galway jersey, it does the heart good, doesn't it? And I'll start with you, Aoife, on this one.
Yeah, even to see young kids getting out and getting outside, a lot of them now are probably at home, with school and stuff, and I suppose it just gives maybe that little bit of hope and that lift, and I suppose kind of brings everyone together as well. And yeah, look, it's a really, really good cause, and especially in the times that we're in now and how difficult they are and challenging they are. And just something, I suppose, that people can get out and get doing and look forward to doing. And again, when you see it on social media, it does, I suppose, as you said, lift the heart. And look, it's great to, I suppose, bring everyone together and, as you were saying, to work towards a common goal. So yeah.
It really does, and that's obviously, Conor, you've got a fantastic support base, as all four teams have, and if you people might not realise it, and it also gives them a massive boost as well if they don't realise that maybe the hurlers or the footballers, the guys that we look up to, the guys that we watch, going to Croke Park or playing the home games at Pearse Stadium or wherever it is, that they're having a look at this as well.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose it's difficult enough for anyone, whether it be a younger person or whoever, to just go out and say they're going to go for a run for whatever reason. But when you add in that, I suppose, community aspect and the fact that there's a bit of competition in it as well, it just gives a little more incentive, I suppose, to everyone to go out and pull on the runners and go out for a run, even if they're not doing the 10k all in one run or whatever it is, just bit by bit. And like you were saying there about how it's great for people's just their general well-being and mental health, just to get out and get a bit of exercise. And I suppose just adding to it in ways by everyone doing it as a group and kind of all heading in one direction. I suppose it gives everyone just a bit of a lift, and I suppose more of an incentive to get out and do it.
Yeah, and Johnny, it's the same for yourselves and the footballers. I know we're having a bit of a slag a little bit earlier on about the lads having maybe a bit of a rivalry going on, good natured as well, may I add, but you watched and Conor, and it's the same for all of you. The games when there were crowds allowed go, seeing all those young supporters, and now they're doing something to kind of back you up, and it's great. It's great for the county overall that everybody's working together and pulling together.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen a few of them there from, America and Australia and stuff. So it's great to see that, there is support for Galway GAA, I suppose, all over the world, and it's not just people that do come to the matches. And I suppose it's great to see that the amount of people that are supporting you. I suppose when you do put on the maroon jersey. So yeah, no, it's great to see.
And Charlotte, it's the important thing is they put their hand in their pocket as well. We're talking about the two charities, and I'll be speaking to them in a couple of moments, but this is the thing as well. It is all fundraising, and that money always comes in very, very handy. It's crucial, the amount of money it costs. I'm lucky in the sense that we get to see what the costs are as regards, training funds, and how much it actually costs. Every penny is vital so that all these things can be done, and for yourselves, as your teams, your preparations, but also for the charities as well in Oranmore and with Cancer Care West as well, that people do give us give what they can, as much as they can.
Yeah, exactly. And every little helps. I know the times are so difficult for everyone, but I think what's so important is that all we hear about now is COVID and people dying from the coronavirus. We don't hear about, people that have cancer and that are dying from that. And I think it's so important that we create that awareness. So to be able to, raise money for Galway GAA, but to give back to the charities, I think is so important.
Okay, Mark, I have one more question for you. I'll come to that in a second. But before we do, Johnny, Conor, Aoife, Charlotte, a quick message for everybody that's watching us tonight regarding the March for Maroon. Up to yourselves. Johnny, I'll start with you. Any message for people who are watching us tonight?
Just thanks a million for all the support. It's greatly appreciated from ourselves, and I suppose from the charities as well. I know you're speaking them later on, but thanks a million for everyone that's done it. And if you haven't got out yet, we'll see if we can get the best 10K. I think Conor Cooney is going to lead the march there and it all.
Conor, I'll leave that with you. Touche.
I don't know about that. Yeah, just like what Johnny said there, just really appreciate it. Like you said, John, just I suppose the people that are playing, we do see the support that we get, and it is really appreciated. It's not overlooked. Like sometimes we might be kept in a bit of a bubble away from supporters, but to see something like this, it gives a lift to us as well, just to see the good intentions that everyone has and the support that they give us. So thanks a million. And if you haven't gone out yet for your run, just to get involved and get going. So thanks.
Aoife.
Yeah, just I suppose to reiterate what the lads have said, just to thank everyone for all their support. We're very grateful for it, and hopefully just everyone, if they could, maybe to, I suppose they said, give whatever little bit they can and to get out and get involved, and hopefully everyone will be back now soon, and we'll be looking forward to hopefully seeing our supporters inside in the stands. And just if you haven't got out, to get out and get your run or your cycle or your walk done, and to get the family involved as well. And just thanks very much for all the support.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for all the support. Just any contribution, no matter how big or small it is, it's greatly appreciated. And it's for a great cause, and it's something to do, and it's get the family out, stay active, and thanks again.
Mark, the reason I've left you last, because there are ways for people to get involved and to be part of the March for Maroon if they don't know how already. There's still time. People can still get involved. I know donations are open until I think the 9th of April. But if they want to get involved, if they're just watching this and maybe weren't fully aware of what this was all about, how would they go about doing it?
There's a couple of ways. You can either go on any of the Galway GAA social medias and follow the link to the I Donate page, and there just fill in your details and donate what you want, or go on the Galway GAA website where there's a link as well. And if failing that, just give any of the county board members a call, and we'd be happy to help.
And if people want to post it, because we were having a bit of a chat, we were chatting about this earlier on, and maybe a little bit of a slag as well, but I mean, people have been putting their times up on social media. I mean, they can go ahead and do that, but it would be great if they wore jerseys, because there are prizes as well to be given away, and I wanted to leave this to last, because there are some very nice prizes to be given away, I see as well, for people who take part.
Yeah, we've a weekly prize of a signed jersey from a team of your choice, be it the Camogie ladies football, hurling, or men's football. So send in your best times, different locations from around the world. I know one guy did a cycle around London and took in a couple of the different soccer stadiums. So all we want to see is people involved wherever they are in the world with their times, locations, and a message of support for the teams.
Yeah, and very importantly, the important thing is you get out there, you do the few kilometres and you donate. That's the important thing. Remember, the money that's being raised for this is going not only to the training funds but also, of course, to two very, very deserving charities, and they are going to be next in our feature on the March for Maroon. We will be hearing from the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit and also from Cancer Care West, and that's coming up. But if you want a little reminder of those who have already taken part in the March for Maroon and messages from them, then have a look at this. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, so who's up for the challenge?
I am.
So am I.
I'm in.
Well, let's get started. We want you to join us this month for our Galway GAA fundraiser, March for Maroon 10K.
It's very simple.
You can walk, run or cycle your 10K at any stage through the month of March.
And it's totally up to you how you complete it.
All you have to do is log on to galwaygaa.ie for all the details and donate what you can today. But as always, please adhere to all COVID-19 restrictions. If you're living abroad, please join us too.
This is a hugely exciting event and everyone is welcome.
Galway GAA needs your support.
Galway GAA needs your help.
All proceeds for this event will go to the Galway GAA Training Fund.
And to two incredible charities, Cancer Care West and the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit.
March for Maroon will also include weekly competitions with some amazing prizes too. From anywhere on the planet, we will be looking for your quickest times, best locations or iconic landmarks.
Or a beautiful sunrise or sunset, or doing your 10K in a new or old Galway jersey. It's up to you.
So let's get moving and sign up today at galwaygaa.ie.
Thank you.
Video for March for Maroon. I know you've seen it twice, but we cannot press this message enough that regards what you're doing and the kilometres that you do, whether it be 5, 10, it doesn't matter. The fact that money raised goes to the training funds for the Galway inter-county teams, but also, and this is where I am delighted to have both Sean Green and Richard Flaherty with me, because they are here representing the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit and Cancer Care West, two fantastic organisations who, regardless COVID, lockdown, restrictions, whatever way you want to call it and however way you want to colour it, it doesn't matter. Their work continues. Continues is an understatement. It is something that just runs all the way through, year on year, and I'm delighted to have both of them joining me now. Richard, Sean, thank you very much for joining me this evening. And Richard, I will start with yourself. Obviously, Cancer Care West have it's a year-round job. I mean, I was trying to write down a script. I changed it 10 times because we've all seen the work that you have done over the past number of years, and it continues even in COVID. And it was a great point made by either Aoife or Charlotte, I can't remember who, but they said, you know, the one thing about it is that people have cancer and it seems to be, I won't say forgotten about, but almost pushed to one side with everything else that's going on.
Yeah, thanks, John, for having us on. We're delighted to be involved with the campaign with Galway GAA. Yeah, it's been as I say, cancer hasn't gone away, and there's no doubt about it. The emergence of COVID-19 has created significant distress among cancer patients, and which has presented, challenges to us. We've had to adapt how we deliver our services because our support centre in Galway, we had to close it for a while, but we moved to remote counselling and continue to provide services to cancer patients. And our lodge in Aoife has remained open through all of COVID. We've had to adapt our services, our staff have had to adapt our services, but continuity of care is crucial for us, and we're delighted to have made all our services available through the pandemic, which is critical for us.
Can I ask you, in what way then did you have to adapt the services? Obviously with restrictions and social distancing becoming the bywords, the fact that it had to be done. I mean, there was no way of getting around it. So a lot of the work that Cancer Care West does is very much one-to-one. It's important because if a person has cancer, and very importantly their families, that they have that personal touch from people in Cancer Care West, and that all has to change with all the different regulations that are now being put in place, and that puts pressure on you as well, because you want to give the same service and you want to give the same comfort to cancer patients and their families, but you now have to do it a different way, which makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we had to move very fast when we went into lockdown last March. For instance, our residential lodge in Isheven, for a period of 6 weeks, we actually handed that over to the HSE, give it its location on the grounds of the hospital to accommodate frontline workers in the hospital so they could stay there. We relocated to the Harbour Hotel our patients and our service. And 6 weeks later, when things settled down, the numbers settled down, we moved back into Inisheven. I mean, in Isheven, for instance, our patients now spend most of the time in their room. Previously, they'd be down meeting the staff and meeting fellow patients, and mutual support and peer support is a really important feature of Inisheven. And that's unfortunately cannot be the case now. We have to be very careful in terms of the patients interacting with each other. So it's the service is still continuing there, but just in a different manner. And unfortunately, that's really, as you say, to prioritise the safety of everyone concerned. But the service still exists, and they still have the accommodation, and the nurses there still communicate with the patients in their room, maybe through phone or video. Technology has played a great, part in all of this and helped us to remain in contact with the patients. Our support centres, like you're right, face-to-face counselling, you just can't beat it. People like to sit across from another person and talk and interact. It's a great source of support. But, unfortunately, that wasn't possible. But we have moved to remote counselling. So, and we've got more skilled at it. And actually, the patients have become used to it now. I suppose everybody's been on Zoom or been on Teams calls and interact with family members or friends. So it has kind of become commonplace now. So we've adapted that way. And patients are still getting the service with their counsellors remotely. It may be a slight second best, but it is still critical. And we have opened our centres again for one-to-one counselling in a really restricted manner. So that is available for people who really need face-to-face counselling. We do it in a safe manner. We're fortunate with a very big centre on 72 Seamus Quirk Road, which allows us to have plenty of space to have patients in and out. So yeah, it's been a real challenge. But I'm confident that we've managed to keep the care going in a really critical time for patients and their families.
Sean Green, I don't know where to start with this, because in my head, one thing that the past 12 months has seen has been a major increase in year work for all sorts of reasons. And, the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit, the work that you've had to do has increased. Like I said, it has, I won't say grown exponentially, but it's a rather sad state of the way it is, that you've been called on so many times over the past 12 months. And that also costs money. That's work that you have to do, and that's work that has to be supported. It must be an incredibly tough time then for ye, because your fundraising, like what happened with Cancer Care West, has pretty much stopped completely. You have to find other ways of fundraising because you can't function without that money.
Absolutely, John. And listen, thanks for having us on here. And we really are grateful to the Galway GAA for naming us as one of their charity partners. Yes, it's a real challenge. We are a 100% voluntary organisation, absolutely depending on donations and fundraising. And there haven't been many opportunities in the last 12 months to do that because of COVID. But this does give us a focus and give people the opportunity to support what we do. So we are most grateful for that.
Is it a fair statement to make, though, that your work has really increased? And dare I put a timeline on it from, say, October to now, that it has really seen a major increase in the amount of times that you've been called out?
Yeah, well, the October to Easter are generally the difficult months in any year anyway, John. So, but this one, since just before Christmas until now, it has seen an increase in the call-outs, and it's not actually call-outs. It has been continuous. We were called initially around the 20th of December, and we haven't stopped searching since, in that there has been five casualties lost to drowning over that period. Four of them have been recovered, but there's still one missing in the bay, and we continue that search as of tomorrow as well, and Sunday. So it has been a difficult. It's been a particularly difficult time for all those families, and we're here to support those families in whatever way we can.
And that's it. I mean, having worked in the newsroom in Galway Bay FM for the past number of weeks, I've become very aware of stories that have emerged of people missing, fears of drownings, and it's a very tough time for their families. There's an element of closure when they are found, but unfortunately for those who are missing, and as you mentioned, other searches continue, they have to be comforted too, and try and give them some kind of reassurance, because it's a terrible time for those people.
Yeah, like a lot of tragedies, families find themselves in the midst of crisis just overnight or very, very quickly, and it's not something that anybody can plan for. So it gives them a focus then when they find themselves in that crisis, that there are people helping them, and I think that's probably the important part of it, that there is somebody there that they can reach out to, and it is organised. And we have various aspects to our organisation, like the pastoral side of it, and not everybody can search or are able to search, but they can come along and feel part of what is happening. And that's equally as important for certain people, to be able to be part of that whole crisis management that's happening, and giving support to the families and being there for them, because as I said, nobody can plan for this, and it just comes on so suddenly.
And it does cost money, and that's the reason why we are here this evening to talk about this, because the reason, of course, that the March for Maroon was put in place was to raise money for your good selves and for the team's training funds. But are you surprised, and Richard, I'll start with you again, are you pleasantly surprised, that the amount of support that you have received during lockdown, has been there, that people have, got behind you? Because obviously, and I know I'm repeating myself, I know I am, and I'm apologising in advance for saying this, but with the fact that you aren't able to fundraise the way that you would normally fundraise, the events can't happen, the different things that put smiles on people's faces, and they put their hand in their pocket as a result of it, they haven't happened. So you found yourselves maybe in a little bit of limbo. You still have to pay for everything that's going on, and the money has to come in. So are you pleasantly surprised that you've received that kind of support, that people have said, we want to help you?
Yeah, because, John, we don't charge for any of our services, and we rely on 3/4 of our income to come from fundraising, and that's approximately 1.3 million a year. And that's a significant challenge, even in an ordinary year where conventional fundraising exists. So when the world stopped in March, we knew that our services would still be needed, and that was a certainty. And we were really concerned at that stage, thinking, how are we going to fund ourselves into the future? But we were very humbled, I have to say, that the generosity of people who have come through our services, families who are aware of our services, managed to continue to support us. And they're reliant on, you'd see money being donated through a website online, just for people giving 10, 20, 30 euros. They all added up, and it really made it possible for us to continue to provide our supports, because on one side we have an ever increasing amount of people needing our help, and the last few months has really gone off the scales in terms of our counselling requirements for people who are suffering distress. On the other side, we have our fundraising income been significantly challenged this year. So we were really humbled, and I'd like to thank the people of Galway for their generosity towards us. It wasn't easy on them. A lot of people had lost their jobs and had shortened working weeks, but still found time and to donate was to ensure that we could still provide our services. So conventional fundraising. We looked at our budget and straight away there was about $250,000 been knocked off our fundraising budget through events that happen every year. As you said, golf events, our group runs, our walks, our quizzes, our coffee mornings. They just could not exist. So we were looking into a big black hole last year, but we've come through it. And this year is probably going to be even more challenging, to be honest with you.
And Sean, we talk about the year just gone, but the year ahead still has, as Richard made the point, has its own challenges. And we're now moving into a time of year where the evenings are getting longer, more and more people, when it's socially distancing, it's safe to do so. We'll probably get out on go on the water for whatever reason, and your services will more than likely. I know you said from October it gets very busy, but as we move on towards the spring and the summer, there's no doubt that your services are going to be very much in need for those particular months.
Yeah, and no more than Richard, it's amazing the generosity of people at times of crisis as well, and we never underestimate the kindness of people when there is a crisis at hand, and it's all the small donations that add up. Is the multiplier. The old saying is, it takes pennies to make pounds, and that's very much the case. It's people who do donate to us as well, but it is challenging. We haven't been able to organise fundraisers ourselves because of the social distancing, and as I said earlier, this gives us a great opportunity for people to support us as well, and it gives us a focus and on this. So we really appreciate the opportunity from the Galway GAA for this. But as you said, it doesn't have to be the winter when there is a crisis. It can be in the summer, like we seen it last year, thankfully, with the paddle boarders they were found. It can be a fishing tragedy. All those things are the same to us. If there is a casualty in the water, we just need to get out there and help the families of those people, and that's it. It can be any time of the year, John. Yeah.
And is there a great opportunity, Sean, as well, to let people know that you are out there as well, get your message across to further people, because in a roundabout way, by people knowing that you're there, they might think twice, shall we say, about maybe going out when they shouldn't, or doing things like that, because you're there to support people as much as you can, and by getting the message out there, you might get through to some people.
Absolutely, and I think no matter what the circumstances are, John, I think any focus on water safety or the dangers of water is always very, very important. And as I said, that can be, it can be just people out walking, or it can be any sort of an accident that can cause a casualty in the bay. But it is that issue of water safety and the danger of the corrib and all those things come together just to bring a focus. And the more we talk about this, I think the better it is, in that it does highlight that danger and what can result from the dangers that are there in our city and in our midst. And sometimes we just walk by the river and just pass a comment on the speed and all of it, but that's a very, very dangerous place, and accidents have happened as well in relation to the river. So all that is very important. I think the more focus we have, there's two aspects to it. It brings out the danger of what's there, but it also highlights that there is support for families when they do find a crisis.
That's the reason why we're here, and I'm going to mention this one more time. March for Maroon. All details are on the Galway GAA social media pages. It's on the Galway GAA website as well, if you want more information on that. And the bottom line is, get out there, get active, and try, if you can at all, to donate what you can, because every penny raised is going to some very, very deserving organisations like Cancer Care West and like the Oranmore-Maree Coastal Search Unit, because they need your money more than ever in what are very, very tough times. To Richard Flaherty and to Sean Green, my deepest thanks, and to you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope we got the message through as well a little bit. I'm trying not to be preachy, but it's important that you put your hand in your pocket if you can at all, and let's get to that target. The iDonate page, details of which are on the Galway GAA website. They are also on the Galway GAA Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media pages they use. You'll find them. All the details are there. And you heard from Johnny Duane, you heard from Conor Cooney. You heard from Aoife, Donohue, from Charlotte Cooney and Mark Gottsche in the last piece as well. And my deepest thanks to them. Thanks to Paul Burns, who got everybody together for tonight's special feature. And also thanks to Dylan Connolly, who has the tough job of tidying all of this up so that you can see it. And my deepest thanks to him as well. Please give what you can. It's important, and there's not much time left. So every single penny and every single euro is absolutely crucial. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.